Murthy, we cannot hear you. Hello, Murthy. Hello.
சார் அவருக்கு கேட்கலன்னு நினைக்கிறேன் சார்.
Hello, Chandru, can you hear me? Sir, can you hear me?
Now I can hear.
Yes.
Okay, you can
Okay,
start.
okay.
Thank
Okay, sorry, I think something in mute it seems. Okay. Sorry, Tim. Yeah. Actually, this is the Excel and a structure I just created for our just purpose. So this is how the structure we will be using in our in our organization. Okay, for GL setup. So first we'll anyhow we'll just check about the legal entity. Okay, the legal entity, the first initial setup for GL configuration, and here legal entity should confirm by stakeholders as well as for HCM module also, because they also will be taking care of that. What is the company name, what is the respective thing has been happened, right? Most of the scenarios, for example, as we all are know about Oracle Fusion was tied up with many modules. For an example, security and HCM, payroll and ERP, those kind of steps is there. So legal entity will be common for all the rest of the modules. So we have to confirm before we start creating the legal entity for GL setup. We have to just confirm with the stakeholders as well as with the HCM team also. Why I'm saying is, if that respective project is belongs to HCM team and they also included, means then they'll be taking care of the legal entity in the initial setup itself, because once they started only and then we can go through with it. And some of the projects, we were aware of it, only ERP module only will be there, so that time we have to create the legal entity. So that is what I just mentioning here. So until if I went anything, if I missed anything, or else if you didn't understand, please stop then and there itself. Okay. So first we have to create the legal entity. That is a major thing. And once the legal entity is created, then we have to go through for a legal entity registration. Okay. And then legal reporting unit. And these are the major setups for legal entity. Okay. And once the three steps setup has been completed, then we have to go for a business unit. And the business unit is depends upon the ledger and legal entity, all the tied up with this. So business unit also will play a major role. So what are the steps we are go through, and all the steps is mandatory, and it's important for GL setup and configuration. Okay. And then basically location and chart of account structure, segment value set and their value set values, accounting calendar, all those basic things, if everyone will aware of it. And what are the things which we highlighted in green, that are the major setups. And once the green highlighted for legal entity, if you are completed, then we have to do the legal entity registration and legal reporting unit, that will be a dependent for it. We have to attach, and this we have to do the mandatory setups, and then we have to map with the legal entity. Okay. So for this only I just update highlighted in this color. Okay. And then location will be a mandatory thing, and then segment value set and accounting calendar, currency, ledger, and conversion rate type, journal reversal criteria set, auto post criteria set. Once all this setup has been done, we are good to create the primary ledger. Okay. And these are the major things on it. Okay. And then once our location, everything is get completed, we have to create the chart of account structure. So chart of account structure is nothing but just a second. I think that document I have updated somewhere. Just a second. So basically, what is mean by chart of account structure? What are the components we are going to use in chart of account structure? For an example, just a minute. I think you team, you have aware of a chart of account structure, why we are creating, right?
Yeah, we'll our. If you want tell, you can put in the right side in the Excel how to create. You can type what
Okay.
all.
Okay,
You
sure, sure, sir. COA is nothing but chart of accounts. Okay, and in chart of accounts, we have some we used to call as chart of accounts. Accounts. Chart of accounts is nothing but we have to segregate our accounts, how the things is. For an example, if one company or else for an entity is there, okay, we'll take it as example as we are Suresh and Co. Okay, Suresh is a company, and there we have multiple departments or multiple in one organization we have multiple departments. For example, account is on a department, and then administration will called as a normally a department. Okay, and then um, fund, what are the amount which has been implemented, we can mention as fund. And what are the services we are going to update, we can mention as services. And then for future purpose we can add some more department. For an IT also will include, means for those purpose, time being we don't have it, for that we'll update as future one segment will be created. So these kind of chart of accounts will be implemented over there in our instance. Just a minute, I'll show it in our
He given the instance details. You can log in and show.
Yes, yes, sir. That is what I'm just looking
Okay.
at. Now you're able to view my screen, right, for this instance login?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Basically, we'll know how we can go into check in the chart of account structure. For an example, you can go for setup and maintenance. Basically, normally its default will select as financials only. We can update in manage chart of accounts. So we have, since it's a demo instance, right? So we have multiple things is there. Maybe we can select any one thing. I think normally yesterday I seen that Nitish has gone for progress US something. So, sir, what would be the frequent ledger you'll be selecting, sir, or a chart of accounts? Whatever it is, fine, right? Okay, for an example, I'll just go through for AU Council. This is a chart of accounts the earlier was were created. Okay, first of all, we have to create a chart of accounts. For an example, just a moment, I'll just give demo over here. Basically, we have a chart of accounts we have to create. Okay, first we have to select for structure, and here it's already default. We have multiple things. Chart of accounts is already created. For an example, if you are creating, we can give this plus icon. Okay, we can able to create a base the structure code. The structure code will comes under for an example UK underscore like that, because we have to add some special characters over here. So already we have created some default chart of accounts is there, so we can take it that itself. We have to select it and give edit icon, and there if you see chart of account structure is already created with AU council and their name, description, delimiter, and delimiter would be always a default by this underscore would be, or else a hyphen case, this kind of delimiter will be updated, and enabled icon will be already default, we have to click it here. Okay, and if you see here fund, cost center, account, program, activity, all these segments has been created, and for this they have updated as segment 1 2 3 4 5. We have to check with our client stating that what would be the first segment 1 or 2, because most of the scenarios segment 1, what is the segment 1 would be, that would be the primary balancing segment. Okay, that would be a first thing we have to keep and confirm with our client. Okay, so here most probably the fund will be the primary balancing segment. For an example, if you click this edit icon, will come to know here they will be selecting as primary balancing segment. If you see, this is what I mentioned as select labels. Okay, and for an example, I'll just how to create one segment. Just we have to click on icon, and basically what is the chart of account name we created, right? For that the structure code will be comes under default, it will be coming. Okay, and after that for an example segment code, and segment code would be if it is already created fund. Okay, we can create as interfund, and the API name will becomes default. Okay, we don't want to update anything, and if we update something means it will comes error. Okay, after that we will be creating the name, and then description, and what would be the sequence number, which means segment 1 or 2, what is the sequence number we have to create, it will becomes here 1 2 3 4, we can update like this. Okay, so and after that prompt will be same, we can give us interfund, and then short prompt would be also same interfund, because what are the name we are giving for the segment name, we have to give simultaneously for other fields also. Okay, and then the display with is nothing but, for an example we know basically for one segment we have a five display 5 values or 6 values or 8 values, that will becomes we have to get confirmation with the stakeholders as well as with the client. Okay, and here if for an example they're using 6 values, okay, we have to give 6, which means that we are creating one interfund concept, then that values should the value would be in 6 digits and 6 values would be. Okay, that is what I mentioned here. And range type we don't want to mention anything, it will we leave left as it is blank. Okay, and then column name, nothing but already we have 5 segments, so we are additionally going to add segment 6 means we can update it like this, segment 6, because we already we have created 5 segments. Okay, and then we have to attach the default value set code. For an example we already create once we create the segment, then we have to attach. For an example interfund we have to create already, and we have to attach it. For an example, most of the scenarios fund and interfund will be a default value set code in our concept, which already which I'm seeing here. Okay, once already we have once all those details updated, then what we have to do is in segment labels, I think primary balance segment is already done, and account also they have updated the segment labels, and the segment labels is majorly used for reporting purpose. For an example we have created the start of account. Okay, and we know about the functional concept of how the accounting entries happen and how the values has been updated, what account will be hit into the respective dependent modules also. For example, for reporting team they might be don't aware of it, they will know about what is the chart of account structure. For an example fund or interfund, all those steps, you know the screen, right? That account, what are the thing. So based upon the segment label we are creating, they will take it as a that label will get into the functionality and a context or segment ID somewhere. So for that purpose, the segment label will create a major role. Okay, with the help of the segment label, they will pull up the reports from the backend table from a BI publisher. Then they will create a report. So once all this things has been done, for an example, I just for roughly I'll just select the analysis segment. I'll just, once we create it like this, and the segment label will be created. If we don't want, we can push back it here. Okay, then once all this data has been created, all the mandatory details we have to apply, and then we have to give save and save close. Okay, this is how the segment all segments are created. Okay, and once this segment has been created, we have to give save and close. I'm just giving like this. So this is how the chart of account has been created. Okay, and then chart of account has been created, and then structure has been updated over here. Fund, what are the segments and structures has been created, we have to update those steps over here. Okay, once the chart of account structure has been created, then simultaneously we have to create chart of account structure instance as well. Okay, why we are creating the chart of account structure instance means, just a second, for roughly I'll show you what is the difference. For an example, chart of account structure and structure instance, we have some basic definition for it. Just a minute, I'll show that also.
Bro, your screen is not displaying.
ஒரே நிமிஷம், அதான் என்ன இங்க இன்னொரு ஸ்கிரீன் மூவ் ஆக மாட்டேங்குது, அதனால அதை எடுத்து வச்சிருக்கேன். ஒரே நிமிஷம், நான் ஸ்கிரீன் ஷேர்
Okay,
பண்றேன்.
okay.
So now you're able to view my screen, right, Chandru?
Okay.
Okay. So the basic thing, what is the difference between chart of account structure and structure instance? We have to know what is the usage of it, right? So for an example, for usage, multiple chart of account structures can structure instance can be created for single chart of account structure, and each tailored to the business different units or organization. So the scope of the chart of account structure is, the chart of account structure is an framework, and whereas chart of account structure instance is a specific application for that framework. Okay, for an example, once we created the chart of accounts only structure, then we can able to proceed for the chart of account instance as well. Okay, for that reason we are creating it. And for a framework and for reporting purpose and duplicating some segments, for that purpose a chart of account structure instance will be helping for it. Okay, the same thing, if you see, we have already created a structure instance only, and if you come here, you can able to see what the same structure instance as well. Okay, for that I'll just give a edit icon, and here you come. Once we are creating this, the uh, structure instance code will becomes the default, since we have already updated in structure. Okay, so API name comes under default name, and then we have to enable all this enable items. For an example, enabled and dynamic combination will be created. Once we start create and create icon itself, this all this enable options will be get enabled. Okay, and then what we are supposed to do is, all the segment code will be, we have to create manually. Since structure instance we have already created, so if you enable it here, give a edit icon, then what we have to do is segment code will becomes default. Okay, then we have to attach the value set code which we already created. Okay, value set code we have to select it from the drop down. Based upon that, we have to attach it in the value set code, and then this required displayed and be enabled, always it should be enabled. By default it should be get enabled, and once for any specific client requirement or else any reporting purpose we have to disable it, but we're not sure for 100% it will be enabled only. Okay, and then required option will be always should be optional. In such scenarios only we can select, but default it should be optional only. And then the tree structure name, which means accounting flexible hierarchy, and tree name, and tree name also will comes under default. If it is not comes, we have to select it from the drop down, and then we have to update the respective tree name and give okay. So like this we have to create a first chart of account structure, and then what are the structures segment we have to created. For the same we have to create all those details for structure instance as well. Okay, once the chart of account structure instance has been created, then what is the next step we have to do is chart of account value sets, because since we have already created the value sets. Okay, so structure instance we have to create, and then we have to proceed for a value set. And since we are doing the GL configuration, we have to select the module would be GL. Any one mandatory field it's become we have to select and then give search. Since this is a demo instance, we have a multiple chart of accounts is create value set has been created. For an example, I'll just select this one thing, and you have to give manage values. Okay, sorry, I'll just went step. Okay, basically we have to create value set. First of all, value set is nothing but what is the department. For an example, we know, right, segment 1 2 3 4 we have a scene for now. As we already seen, the chart of account structure, the chart of account would be AU council. That is for this particular project we are seeing. And here you can ask fund, cost center, account, program, activity. Before we are attaching this segments will be in a structure, we have to create it in value set. Whether we can able to go for chart of account value set values, or otherwise chart of account value set also. Since both the steps are same only. If you see here, here we have selected for chart of account value set values, right? So just a minute, I'll just both the ways we can able to see both the page and visualization is be same only, so we don't worry about it. Chart of account value set also we can able to, first thing we have to select from the chart of account value set. Okay, but once we created all the things, we can go for chart of account value set values also. We have to select the respective module and give search, and then for an example you are going to create one value set. Just give create icon. Value set code would be fund, or account, whatever it be, and then module will have to select as GL. What basically will, for an example, for FA also we'll be selecting the module, right, value set. For that purpose we can select based upon that module base. Okay. And moreover, for function type we have to select independent.
Okay, these are all chart of configuration we did for GL. You can go to next step. You can show the Excel, and you can explain the Excel one time, and then other steps you can tell us. Okay.
Okay.
That's a sample file how you upload through web.
Okay, sure. Okay, so we know about what would be the how we are creating the value set, and once the value set has been created, we have to select we have to create the value set, right? And after that, what are the value set values we have to be loaded. Okay, for an example, cancel. So once structure instance has been created and value set also has been created, once the value set has been created, what are the next steps? For an example, so the thing is, if you select a particular value set, activity AU council, okay, if we are creating one values for it. For example, already it has a default value for these two values. Okay, and if you are trying to create one more values added to it, for an example, our client has been mentioned as add 2 3 values, for another one value we have to add it. So that time we have to create, we have to select this plus icon. So for an example, okay, and then description would be uh, additional, like that, whatever it would be. And then start date and end date will be mostly it won't require. And for an example, and then the major thing is summary, allow posting, allow budgeting. Okay, summary, for an example, if you are selecting summary as no, then allow posting, allow budgeting should be yes, which means summary is no, is a concept of this value is considered as a child value. Okay, and the same case, if you are selecting the summary as no, yes, then it would be considered as a parent value, which means it should be the head of the parent. You know about the parent and child value concept, right? The thing is, based upon one hierarchy, the parent and child value concept and all will be used for account hierarchies, and then for respective for FRS report those prospective. So most scenarios for this we will be selecting default by child values only, and if it is a parent value, our client will confirm that these are the parent values, we have to respective values needs to be loaded. Okay, so summary should be if it is summary should be yes, then our allow posting and allow budgeting should be no only. This is our basic concept. Okay, the same vice versa, if you're selecting the summary as no, then the allow posting and allow budgeting should be yes. Okay, this is what the default value. And if you see, for this is a only one value, we will be creating only one line. It won't take more hardly for 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, and if it is for more than 100 values or 200 values, and that time what will be the case means, we have to import those values through the FPGA template. That is a fusion way we have to import the same. Okay, for that I'll just show you one sample example, just a minute.
Chandru, you are understanding, right? How they are going to, because you know GL.
And Chandru, if you didn't understand means please stop me there itself. I'll just explain you.
No.
Okay.
So the thing is file-based data import. For this FBDA template, we have to download it from here. Okay. This is the link we have commonly used for all the modules. Okay. And the thing is, now we are going to import those values. For an example, chart of accounts, we are seeing about it. And for this value sets, how we are going to import. For that purpose, we have to select this respective chart of account segment values. We have to click this Excel template. Okay. Once we click here, it will get downloaded. Once a file get downloads, we can see it in the downloads folder, and just we can able to open it. Show some security risk for it. So the first thing, it will give us some instructions how we have to import those data. Okay. And based upon that, we have to read those instructions. It will update the parent and for GL segments and hierarchies, all those stuff. This will be a common setup which is given by Oracle only. Okay. So for an example, here GL segment values interface. Okay. And what we are supposed to do is we have to import the segment values through this mode only. For an example, we have to select for GL segment values and interface. And if you see here, just to go through with what is the mandatory setups we have to fill. Okay, required details, values that code, values, start at and end date, summary flag, enabled flag, account type, allow posting, budgeting, and third party control. All the steps will be there. Okay. And here, what are the major set of things we have to keep an eye on? It is value set code will be a major thing. Okay. Here they have some frequent data is there. since we already created for 3 values, right? And now they are given for 100 values like this. Okay, we from the required client input. So once they get confirmed, then we have to update what are the values set code. For an example, this is the value set. So we are going to create interfund. So update those respective value set code here. What are the values a given client give a confirmation from them? We have to update all those values. For example, here 150 values is there. So we are updating. And since the value set code would be, for an example, 3 values only, right? So we have to update all those 3 values. For an example, take it as an example as only this 6 values. Okay, 6 values, it takes only 3 minutes. So for that, all these 3 values we have to update it here. Okay, because the display should be matched for as per the client requirement. So values has been updated. And started and end date is not mandatory. If they given, then that is fine. Otherwise we can remove the start date and end date. And next thing is summary flag. As we already know about the basic things for summary flag, if it is no, and then this allow posting, allow budgeting will be yes only. Okay, and enabled flag always default by yes only. And for this is not a account segment, so we have to remove this account segment as we have to keep it as blank. Okay, so once all this things has been done, then the remaining steps, the third party control, reconcile flag, all should be remains as it is. We don't want to touch anything. And then we have to update the respective description. Since we know about what is the values and what is the description they are given, so we have to copy the respective description over here. And then we have to update all those descriptions here. Okay, and before loading the file, we have to reconfirm one thing. For an example, if we are selecting by no, then allow posting it should be yes, allow budgeting should be yes. And if it is case, if it is a yes, then here allow posting and allow budgeting should be no only. Okay, once all this has been created, since we are importing segment values only, right? So what we have to do is we have to go for the respective next tab and just delete all those steps. Okay, because we don't need this. We have to delete it and just save the file. And then once all these values has been created, just click validate segment values. I think macro is not yet enabled. Most of the scenarios it should enable only. Maybe the thing is we have updated something. If you click here, then the validate segment values will validate. For an example, if you missed anywhere, the thing is if you updated 5 values here, okay, if it is for the last or in the middle of the thing, if you forget to update the summary flag or allow posting or allow budgeting enabled flag, if it is missed, means it will shows an error for it. For that reason, will be it will be useful for the validated segment values. All the description or everything is missed or not, it will shows an error. Okay, once all this is get completed, we have to save the file and go to the first sheet instructions and generate CSV. Okay, here it will shows us for the information about preparing data and loading these things. We have to select it here. So generate data as a CSV. Just a minute. See, I think if you see now you can able to see what validation is completed, no errors found. Okay, for an example, if you missed it somewhere, okay, everything is fine. Then if you click validate segment values, now you will see validation is completed, but one or more errors found. Please correct the errors, which means we have missed something. For an example, if you know that we have only 5 values here, 5 lines only. But if it is a case 100 or 200 line items, we cannot able to check all the line items, right? In that time, since we might made some mistake, right? For that reason only we have to give the validate segment values. If you click here, then you now you can able to view it. Then what we will be do is we have just, okay, this is the thing we have updated, and the segment errors has been updated over here. So now again you click into the validate segment values. Now the validation is completed, no errors found. So now the error field also will get hidden. So what is the thing is, now we are good to load the file. Chandru, so far you will understand how the validation is done, right?
I understand.
Okay. Now once the details has been updated, click on generate CSV file. It will take 1 or 2 minutes. Just wait for some time. It is not showing. Just generate CSV. Okay. I don't know why it is shows this error again and again. Just a minute. It should supposed to save and it should be generated as a CSV format. Okay, once we have saved and we have to generate the CSV file, it shows one more field over here, and once it get updated over here, we have to get on pop-up icon, which means the file, if it is an Excel size, right, and it will be generated as a CSV format. Since we have a CSV format as example used for while we are importing into our instance, that time it will be very useful to how the large data also it will be scrutinize all the stuffs in a CSV format. It will get imported. So I don't know why it is not showing in a CSV format. Maybe I'll check in the next time, and I'll just check and get back to you. Then once for an example, we are just updating here in a CSV format. It shows a zipped file. Okay, because once the CSV has been generated, then again we have to save the file in a CSV format. Okay, CSV along with the zip format. Okay, for that purpose it will be get useful. Once we are just generated with the zip file format, then we have to go for our respective instance. For tools, schedule process, just search, name as load interface, which means we are first time we are interfacing our data into our respective task. Okay, just give okay, again okay. and import process, in which mode we have to import our process. For that scenarios, we have to select the respective drop down. Otherwise, if you know the thing, we can update it as import segment values and hierarchy. Since we are importing our segment values only, right? So we have to give OK, and then data file. Data file is nothing but we have to select from the respective path where we have placed it. It is data file. Upload new file. Choose a file. And we have to know one thing is, once we updated all the segment values and with the FBD format, we are supposed to save it in a this format only, okay, which means in a CSV format. Then only it will get imported, otherwise it will not, because since it is an Excel format, for reference only I'm just showing. Maybe I don't know why it is not showing. Maybe next time if I'm updating, I'll show you. Then we have to give OK. Then we have to submit, and we have to note it the process which has been done, okay. Then we'll come to know, we can see what is the issue. It will come interface. Since we are selecting in a Excel format, it shows some error only. Maybe I'll show you. Once the process ID get confirmed, we'll just 1138. Okay, just give OK and give cancel button. Just refresh the screen, and these are the basic things you know, right? See, the thing is, now the first stage itself, it shows a load interface file for import. Since we are not imported in a CSV format, then that is the reason it shows an error. I don't know if I'm selecting it, why it should not comes in a CSV format. I'll just maybe I restart my Excel, or else I'll just take in another format in our demo instance somewhere in my system. Okay, once it gets succeeded, load interface, transfer file, and import file, all these three phases needs to be succeeded. And after that, import segment values, hierarchies, and import segment values and hierarchies, it get 5 times it should be the 5 concurrent it should be run, and all this gets succeeded. Then we can able to see rest what are the values we were imported in our funds values. We can able to see it there. I don't know why it is not showing. Maybe I'll just check from my end. I'll just get back to you on that, Chandru, Suresh. And this is how the segment values will be getting imported in our instance. The same way we have to do for segment value. We did for segment values, right? This is the same way we have to do for account hierarchies as well. The thing, the major thing we have to check what is the parent value or hierarchies. I'll just take it in as another session how the things we have to get implemented. Maybe before that, I'll just take why the CSV is not showing that it's not coming in a proper way. And this is how we have to import the segment values. Okay, and then once the segment values has been imported, and then we have to check for segment hierarchy. But before submitting the accounting configuration, before creating this primary ledger, hierarchy will not be that much dependent or that much important, because once we complete our setups, the GL setup has been completed, we are creating the balance cubes, because once we have completed GL configuration, and we have to inform the rest of the modules, they can start their work, right? In the meantime, we can create the hierarchies also, so that will not be a major problem. Okay, so segment values we have to create, accounting calendars and all we know, and then currency. Currencies has been created. Then what we have to do is conversion type, journal source and journal category and all already default we have a systems overhead. And if you want to particularly, we have to do any conversion for source or category, then we have to create this category and source over in a journal source or journal page. Then we have to create it, and then journal reversal criteria set, auto post criteria set, and all this has been done. We have to move for ledger. So that time what we have to do is, once all these major setups, for an example, all the green highlighted things what we are mentioning, right, all this has been done, then we have to go for manage primary ledger. So I think already we have a AU council, right? For that, the balance scripts has been created. Okay, this is a manage primary ledger page, and for an example, we are creating one more ledger, means we have to, we can able to create the primary ledger directly, stating that just I'll show you how the ledger has been created. Ledger name, description, and what is the chart of account we are going to select, AU council or whatever the thing. Accounting calendar, what would be the calendar, since we have already created the accounting calendar is get defaulted, right? Sorry, just since we have already predefined the accounting calendar. And then what is the currency, most of the scenarios will use for USD only, or else we are based upon the client, we can update the respective currency. And accounting method we already created, what a standard accrual, or else US federal standard accrual will be a major a default thing we'll use to create. Okay, once this has been get created, because that and all we have a respective config document we have with it, with the client confirmation. Okay, once the primary ledger has been created, and the simultaneously we cannot able to switch over for directly go for it. Once the primary ledger has been created, stating that AU primary ledger description, all those steps has been created, then we have to go for specify ledger options, because this will be the major thing. Once we complete the specify ledger options only, we can proceed further for creating the balance schemes in our GL configuration. Okay, and here this is the major thing. What would be the ledger name, US primary ledger, and description, and currency chart of accounts, it already populated by primary ledger, which we already updated few minutes back, right? So based upon that, accounting calendar would be comes under first, and first open period, what would be the first open period for this project? Okay, this will be shows here. And then number of future enterable period, what will be giving minimum 1 2 based upon that client requirement. And accounting method, what we are configured in our system, it will be selected from the drop down. Okay, we can able to change it later on also, no problem. And then journal language will be default by American English only. And if it is a client requirement give for some other language, means we can change it as per the client requirement. Okay, and then we have to update the respective retainings account. Okay, this retaining earnings account will be majorly helpful for uh, to real what is the exact real profit and gain, what is the profit and loss which has been happened for this whole fiscal year. For an example, for 22 to 23, what are the log major log back, or else what is the expense has been created and what is the loss has been updated. All the steps will be comes under this respective retainings account. This and all initially will get confirmed with our client, what are the respective accounts will be mapped with it, and what are the values which comes under to the retainings account part. Okay, and after that, this period end rate and period average type will be comes under corporate. Okay, and then basically this two three enabled parts, for an example, ledger, sub ledger accounting, and enable journal and manual ledger entry approval, all this will be get defaulted, will be enabled. So if as per the client requirement, if they don't want anything, but they won't be saying anything. And because this is a default and mandatory things to enable suspense account, ledger accounting, and enable journal for sub ledger entry approval, all this we have to enable it, and we have to update the default suspense account and rounding account and all will get updated in the respective um, in the client interact section itself. Okay, based upon that we have to select all those steps, and since we have already created the journal reversal criteria set, we have, if there is a criteria set, we have to attach it. Mostly we'll have it, and once the ledger has been created itself, we can update it. It will be very useful and fine. Okay, because this and all for journal reversal it will be very useful. Okay, once all this get updated, then we can able to cross check once the thrice a time, and then we can give save and close. Okay, and all this has been updated, then we have to assign the balance segment values to legal entities, which is nothing but we have to create what are the respective legal entities, right? Since we have a value set and a chart of account, all those stuffs will be updated. What we are doing is the legal entities will be mapped account with the balance segment values. Here the balance segment value is nothing but what is the primary balance segment which we selected, right? For an example, for this AU council, you can see that fund would be the primary balancing segment. So that primary balancing segment, what are the values has been updated, we have to attach all those values in this respective legal entity. Okay, we have to select create on a create, and then what is the legal entity we have already updated, and if it is a company value, it shows us company value here, since we have to change the respective ledger name. Then if there is 100 values also, we have to update, populate this all the respective company, all the 100 values will be here, and then give save and close. Okay, once all this has been done, we can give save and close. So all the major things has been done, major setups. For an example, this checklist, what are the checklists we updated: legal entity, business unit, location, value set code, data access set, all those stuffs has been done. Ledger and special ledger option also is done. So once all this done, assigning balance segment values to legal entity also we can write. So now what we are supposed to do is we have to go and give the manage primary ledger. Balance cubes has been created, because once we are none other than we can create, we can check or thrice a time also. Once we created a balancing accounting cube, for an example, this green color has been highlighted, then we cannot change anything in our configuration purpose in the basic things. Okay, for that reason only we are checking on it. Just a minute. Sorry, team. So once all the setups has been created, we have to select the respective manage primary ledger, and then we have to select the balance cubes has been here we can mention as review and submit accounting configuration. For an example, we are did all those steps, then we have to go for monitor process, or otherwise we can go it here itself. In the drop down itself, we will come to know review and submit accounting configuration. Here we'll come to see AU okay. Then we can able to see the US primary ledger also. So by default, it shows what is a ledger which we created. Okay, before we are submitting this configuration, it will show US primary. Maybe I'll just for US primary ledger. Since it is already created and it's submitted, it is not showing here. Otherwise, it shows balance cubes, average balance cubes. It shows in a grade icon. Once you submit this process, then only it will get enabled and it will change it as a green format. Okay, then it will take almost 10 to 15 minutes because we are submitting. It will take all the rest, what are the basic configuration we did. It will shows all the validation correction backend table itself, and once it gets succeeded, it shares it get provide the confirmation as a confirmed, and it should be a green status, and then we are good for our GL configuration has been completed. Then we can inform the respective other module members to check about what is the exact status is there. You can start the respective modules for AP or GL. What are the modules will be applicable for it, we can inform the respective team. This is how the GL setup and then configuration will be done in our Fusion. Maybe if I missed anything, kindly let me know, sir.
Okay.
Do you understand what?
I understand.
Okay, because this is the first time I'm taking a session and all. I don't know about the thing. That is why.
Okay, good. Means good.
Because I didn't prepare something, I'll just have the basic things only. Okay, if you have any doubt also, please let me know. I'll just take one more time also. Okay. Hello, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, tell me.
Yes,
You
sir.
can run through the remaining steps so that evening we can.
Sorry, sir.
No, you are having Excel, no? Whatever the steps is there, you can tell what are the next step, what will you do, like that, each tab.
That is not part for this GL, sir. This is for the remaining rest of the modules. It has been updated for our the thing is what is the
You
basic
just
things
give an
we have.
overview on all the tab. Okay.
Okay.
What is there, what we have to do, like that. You tell us what next account or hierarchy, what status mail, like that you tell. Okay.
Oh, okay. Because that is for I think I didn't remove for the basic things. Just a minute. I'll just share it and show
Okay.
you what is the basic things. Just a minute.
Okay.
Okay. This is we have made for internally for the current project. That is what I removed those basic steps. Okay.
Okay.
It will get confused. So
Okay.
once GL setup has been confirmed, completed, then we can go for the pending configurations, which means what are the basic configuration we have missed, or else we have to check with the respective team, or else respective COEs, or else project managers. We have to get confirmation for it, legal and registration, reporting on it. That and all we may have some point of contact with it, and then for account, as I already mentioned, right? The thing is we have gone for the segment values for fund and interfund, all those stuff. That is not a problem. For an example, asset account would be a major thing, because for account only it will segregate what is the profit or loss, and the remaining steps it becomes under. For an example, you are creating one value set, values in account. Okay, the all the things, values, description, start date, end date, summary, allow posting, budgeting, everything will be common. But here additionally we are supposed to add only one respective task. For an example, account type, asset, liabilities, or owner's equity, expense, and then what are the respective account time, accounting type we have to select, because otherwise it will not hit into the respective account. Okay, for that purpose account type will be the major thing in an accounting account segment. For that purpose we have just have a basic screenshot for it. And then for a hierarchy, and then hierarchy is purpose for the basic things. As I mentioned you, right? For an example, how the segment values get loaded, the same way hierarchies also get loaded. Okay, for that we will be maintaining for the basic things. For an example, for hierarchy setups, we have to go for publish account hierarchies. The task I'll just show you. How we have to do the account hierarchies and how it is get implemented. For example, we have to select the respective chart of accounts and give search. Okay, and then go expand the respective task. Okay, and here majorly what we have to do is current and base version we have to select. Okay, both the versions has been get created our default purpose only, because whatever the thing we have to do it in a base, that will be still remains the same. And if there is any do or any changes, then we have to update the respective changes in a current version. Okay, in the scenarios what we have to do is select the respective task. It is already published status, we have to unpublish it. uh, Publish and unpublish, what is the difference means, if it is enabled and if you get publish means it will get published, and if you remove this icon and then if you give publish means it is unpublished. Okay,
Okay.
because the first thing we have to unpublish the data, then only we can sync all those respective tasks in our instance. Okay,
Unpublished.
unpublish the hierarchy in a publish account hierarchy task, and then select the respective task in a account hierarchies task, manage account hierarchies. Just go for another duplicate instance. Account AU council. You have to select the respective tree code, and then what you have to do is you have to select the current base version should remain the same. Okay, because we already updated started and end date. Okay, what are the changes we are going to do, we have to select the respective AU council current, go to the actions. The status should be First, what we have to do is we have to do the column flattening and then row flattening. This is the basic setups we have to do. Just give schedule online flattening, okay, and give done. Once your column flattening is done, just give for row flattening, and then row flattening also we have to give online flattening, give done, and then we have to set the tree version should be as active status, okay. It should be in a default, because once we done the row flattening, column flattening, it shows as a default, and then active, it shows as active, it's already in active status only. And then we have to do the auditing, then we have to set the tree version as enabled, and then give online audit. The thing is, why we are doing the account hierarchies is, but not only for account hierarchies is respective for all the segments, account, department, fund, because we have to segregate the parent and child values, right? Based upon the values, they might get a one account department, account segment to depart segments. We have to segregate the values, right? All those accounts will get settled in a different accounts. Once we settle down in a respective hierarchies, once we doing this all this process, then account hierarchies will get in a respective tree structure code for a useful of FRS report, those kind of steps. For that reason only, hierarchies um, will get a plays a major role for it. For that reason only, we are doing the hierarchies concept, okay. And then once we run all those steps, then what we have to do is this is the manual way we are doing for the publish account hierarchies. In for hierarchy setups, all those configuration is done, we have to run all this for the steps in manual way. And we have another way also. The thing is, we have we can go for monitor process, give schedule process. Okay, you have to select give okay, and here you have to select all the what are the respective values set. For an example, account, company, department, what is the respective task, we have to select it and give the publish details value set should be no. And once we get, in meantime, it shows publish account hierarchies itself, one task is there. If you run all the steps, what are the row flattening, column flattening we are doing currently, all the steps will be get doing for all the respect, it will get automatically. We have to run this only two concurrent, it will do all the row flattening, column flattening, auditing, all the steps will be taken care for this concurrent itself. It will do all the task by backend with instead of manual work. Okay, sorry for this chart of accounts. So we have to select the respective value set, and then we have to publish value sets. Default should be no only, and if you give submit, it will do the same concurrent only. Then it will shows publish chart of account hierarchies and publish chart of account dimension members, and it will get succeeded. Then we are good to go for what are the hierarchy setups we are doing in the manual way. These two concurrent will get succeeded. Then all the value the concurrent itself will run all those things. As I mentioned, for what is the current version, we have to select as unpublished, and then it will automatically go for row flattening, column flattening, auditing, and then it will row flattening, column flattening, auditing. And what is again the publish hierarchy itself, it automatically done by our system itself. For that reason only, it will get useful, okay. So publish hierarchy status, okay. These So this is how our configuration will be doing it. And once all the hierarchy is also done, once our configuration everything all over the configuration module API RGL, all the configuration module has been done, then we'll get the conversion templates from the customer end, and then we have to do the start the conversion perspective as well. So this is how the GL configuration will be done by our end, Chandru and Suresh.
Yes, Murthy.
Okay.
Yeah, tell me. சொல்லுங்க. Hello.
சார் சார் கேக்குது. சார் அதான் பேசிக் கான்ஃபிகரேஷன்ஸ் அண்ட் செக்மெண்ட் வேல்யூஸ் இம்போர்ட் இதுதான் எப்படி பண்ணுன்றது மட்டும் இப்போ எடுத்துட்டேன் சார்.
ஓகே ரைட். ஓகே, அப்போ நம்ம டீட்டெயிலாக ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ண நம்ம ஈவினிங் ஒரு நிமிஷம்